Visual. The scene opens on a vast, silent desert at twilight. The sand is the color of bone. In the distance, a single, impossibly tall grandfather clock stands, its hands moving backward. The sky is a deep indigo, bruised with violet and orange, reminiscent of a Magritte painting. A lone, leather armchair sits in the middle of this expanse. The narrator's voice is calm, resonant, and intimate, as if speaking directly into the viewer's mind. Narrator, have you ever felt it? A subtle, yet persistent sense of being a stranger in your own house. You operate the machinery of your life with flawless precision. You meet deadlines, you maintain relationships, you navigate the complex choreography of your days. But beneath the polished surface, there is a low hum of dissonance. A feeling that the person you present to the world is a carefully constructed ambassador for a country you have never visited. This is the Inner ExileThe Paradox. We are sovereigns of a kingdom to which we have lost the map. And every night, that lost map is sent to you. A cryptic, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying message from the homeland. By the end of our time together today, you will possess the first cipher to read these nightly dispatches. You will begin to learn the forgotten language of your soul. Phase 2. The problem narrator. You believe you know yourself. Of course you do. You know your preferences, your political leanings, your professional ambitions. You have a story you tell, to others, and to yourself, about who you are. This story is your ego. It is a necessary fiction, the captain of your ship. But have you ever woken in the breathless dark, your heart a frantic drum against your ribs, chased from a dream so visceral it felt more real than the bedsheets tangled around you? Or have you surfaced from a dream of such impossible beauty, of such profound connection, that the return to your quiet bedroom felt like a profound and sorrowful loss? You try to grasp the narrative, to pin it down with the clumsy words of waking life. I was in a forest, you might say, but the trees were made of glass, and they were singing. Or, I was talking to my father, but he had the eyes of a wolf, and I wasn't afraid. It sounds like madness. It withers under the harsh glare of logic. And so, you dismiss it. A glitch in the system. A bit of undigested pizza. You file it away under nonsense, and begin your day. But this dismissal comes at a staggering cost. You feel it, don't you? This vague but persistent anxiety. You find yourself in a meeting, brimming with confidence, ready to present the project you have perfected for weeks. You are the master of your domain. Yet, the night before, you dreamt you were on that very stage, but you were naked. Your notes had turned to dust in your hands, and as you opened your mouth to speak, only silence came out, met by an auditorium of quiet, knowing smiles. You shook it off that morning. And yet, the ghost of that dream remains. It haunts the edges of your confidence. It whispers of a vulnerability your conscious mind had so carefully paved over. The dream knew something you didn't. Or rather, something you refused to know. By treating these nightly visitations as junk mail from the psyche, you are committing a profound act of self-neglect. You are navigating the treacherous waters of your existence with a sophisticated GPS, while ignoring the wise, old sea captain in the hull of your own ship who can feel the weather in his bones, who knows the currents and the hidden reefs because he is the ocean. This alienation is the root of so much of our modern malaise. We live exclusively in the brightly lit foyer of our own being, terrified to open the door to the other 99 rooms. We are haunted by the sounds we hear from behind that door, but we choose to turn up the volume on the television instead of investigating the source. The problem is not that your inner world is chaotic and meaningless. The problem is that you have become illiterate in your own native tongue. Visual. The camera pans from the armchair up to the sky. The stars begin to appear, but they are not random points of light. They slowly form ancient, mythological constellations and alchemical symbols. Phase 3. The solution narrator. To find our way back, we need a guide. A cartographer who dared to journey into this wilderness and return with a map. That guide is the Swiss psychologist, Carl Gustav Jung. He was a man who stood at the precipice of his own mind, looked into the swirling abyss of the unconscious, and did not step back. He stepped forward, with a lantern in his hand. What he discovered was revolutionary, and it forms the bedrock of our solution. The core idea is this: dreams are not random. They are not the brain's nightly housecleaning. They are a purposeful, intelligent, and ceaseless communication from the deeper, wiser, and more ancient parts of your psyche to your conscious ego. Your dream is a letter, addressed specifically to you, from the totality of your being, what Jung called the self. It is a nightly status report on the state of your inner union. And it's written in the only language the unconscious knows, the language of symbols. To learn this language, we must first understand its fundamental grammar. First, is the principle of compensation. Your dreams are not interested in telling you what you already know. Their function is to restore balance. Your psyche, like your body, seeks homeostasis. If your conscious life becomes too one-sided, too rational, too materialistic, too selfless, too arrogant, the dream will rise from the depths to present the opposite. It is the psychic immune system, creating antibodies for your unbalanced attitudes. That dream of being naked on stage? That was your unconscious whispering, your confidence is admirable, but it is brittle. It is not integrated with your human vulnerability. Let us not forget this part of you, lest it cripple you when you least expect it. The dream isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to complete you. It brings the shadow into the light so that you may become whole. Visual. The astrolabe transforms into a single, glowing seed. It falls to the desert floor and instantly sprouts into a massive, gnarled tree. Its branches are filled with objects: keys, swords, chalices, snakes, birds. Second, we must understand the language of symbols. Our waking world runs on signs. A red light is a sign that means, stop. The meaning is singular and agreed upon. The unconscious does not deal in signs. It deals in symbols. A symbol is not a stand-in for something else, it is a living reality. It is a vessel, pregnant with meaning, often paradoxical. A snake in your dream is not just a phallic symbol, as early psychoanalysis might have reductively suggested. Depending on the context, it could symbolize poison and healing, temptation and wisdom, death and rebirth. The dream uses symbols because they are multi-layered, capable of holding the complex, contradictory truths of our nature in a single image. A sign tells you what to do. A symbol invites you to contemplate who you are. Visual. The tree's branches morph into a grand, ornate stage, like a Shakespearean theater. Masks of all kinds, tragic, comic, monstrous, divine, line the proscenium arch. Third, is the concept of the archetypal theatre. The characters in your dreams are not random extras. They're actors from a timeless, universal repertory company. These are what Jung called the archetypes. You have met them, even if you do not know their names. There is the shadow, the figure who chases you, confronts you, or shames you. It is the embodiment of everything you have rejected and repressed about yourself, your anger, your envy, your untamed creativity. There is the anima or animus, the mysterious, compelling feminine or masculine figure who fascinates or challenges you. This is your inner soul image, the bridge to the deepest parts of the unconscious. There is the wise old man or woman, the guide who offers cryptic advice or a helpful tool. This is your own innate, ancestral wisdom. Your personal dream is a unique play, but the characters are as old as humanity itself. The dream takes the image of your critical boss and uses him as a costume for your own inner critic. It takes the image of a lost puppy and uses it as a costume for your own neglected innocence. All the world's a stage, Shakespeare said. Jung would add, and all the stages are within you. So, how do we put this all together? Think of your psyche as a vast, ancient kingdom. Your conscious ego is the ruler, living in a small, brilliantly lit castle at the center. You have governed this castle for so long, you have forgotten that it is not the entire kingdom. Beyond the castle walls lie immense, dark forests, uncharted mountain ranges, and deep, shimmering oceans. This is the unconscious. You, the ruler, have grown disconnected from your realm. You are making decisions based only on what happens within the castle walls. The dreams, then, are messengers from this wider kingdom. They are scouts from the forest, fishermen from the sea, mystics from the mountains. They arrive at your gate speaking in old, pictographic language, the language of symbols. They bring news of a drought in one province, a hidden treasure in another, a brewing rebellion in the valley. To dismiss them as nonsense is to be a foolish king. To learn their language is to become a wise one. It is to rule not just a castle, but a living, breathing kingdom. Your kingdom. Phase 4. The application narrator understanding the theory is like admiring a map. But to truly know the territory, you must walk it. This requires practice, a ritual. It requires that you become not just a dreamer, but an active participant in your own mythology. Here are 5 practical steps to begin your journey as a translator of the night. 1. Become the scribe. Keep a dream journal. This is the foundational act. It is non-negotiable. Place a journal and a pen by your bedside. The very moment you awaken, before the logic of the day has a chance to invade, before you check your phone, before you even fully open your eyes, you must write. Record everything. The plot. The characters. The colors. The emotions. The strange, illogical details. Write in the present tense, as if you were still in the dream. I am walking down a long corridor. The floor is made of water. Do not interpret. Do not judge or censor. Simply be a faithful scribe to your inner world. This simple act is a ritual. It is a message sent back to the unconscious that says, I am listening. And when the unconscious knows it has an audience, it will begin to speak with breathtaking clarity. 2. The method of amplification. Weave the web. Once the dream is recorded, select a central image. A key. A tree. A crow. A tower. Now, we will amplify it. This is not the same as free association. We are not skittering across the surface of the mind. A key makes me think of my car makes me think of the highway makes me think of my vacation. That leads you away from the dream. We want to go deeper into it. Take the key. Circle it on the page. Now, create a web of meaning around it. First, the universal and cultural associations. What are keys in myths, fairy tales, and religion? They represent access, secrets, liberation, knowledge, imprisonment. Write these down. Next, your personal associations. What does a key mean to you? The key to your childhood home. A piano key. The first key you ever owned. A specific turn of phrase, like, the key to success. Explore the image from every possible angle, until this simple object begins to glow with a universe of potential meaning. You are treating the dream image with the respect you would give a great work of art. 3. Identify the cast. Who is on your stage? Look at the characters in your dream. If they are people you know in your waking life, your mother, your partner, your rival, ask yourself, what is the first quality, the primary function or feeling, I associate with this person? Perhaps your mother represents unconditional love, or perhaps critical judgment. Perhaps your rival represents ambition, or perhaps your own insecurity. The dream is a masterful dramatist. It uses these familiar figures as masks for parts of yourself. A dream argument with your overly practical father might be a dialogue between your own adventurous spirit and your inner voice of rigid convention. The dream is a play, and every single character, from the hero to the monster to the silent bystander in the corner, is a facet of your own psyche. Ask, what part of me does this character represent? 4. Pinpoint the feeling. Follow the emotional compass. Now, strip away the surreal plot, the bizarre imagery, and ask yourself this crucial question. What was the core feeling of the dream? Were you terrified? Elated? Overwhelmed with grief? Deeply peaceful? The narrative can be a disguise, but the emotion is always true. The feeling is the energetic charge that animates the symbols. It is the why. A dream of flying might feel like exhilarating freedom, or it might feel like a terrifying lack of control. The image is the same, but the feeling tells you what the dream is actually about. Once you identify the core emotion, ask, where in my waking life am I currently feeling this, even if I'm trying to ignore it? The dream is holding a mirror up to your emotional reality. 5. The title and the takeaway. Find the message. Finally, after you have performed this work of amplification and reflection, read over your notes. Then, give the dream a title, as if it were a short story or a painting. The meeting in the glass forest. The king who lost his key. The laughing shadow. This act of naming helps to crystallize its central theme. Then, ask one last question. If this entire, elaborate dream were a messenger, sent from the wisest part of me, with a single, vital sentence it needed me to hear, what would that sentence be? Write it down. It may be a warning, a piece of advice, an encouragement, or a question. You are neglecting your creativity. It is time to face what you have been avoiding. Do not mistake rigidity for strength. This is the letter, finally delivered. Phase 5. The proof narrator. This may sound like an elaborate, introspective game. A beautiful, but ultimately useless, piece of self-indulgence. But the efficacy of this work is not just a matter of faith. It is written in the very history of the concept itself. Jung did not conceive of these ideas in the sterile comfort of an academic office. He forged them in the crucible of his own experience, during a period of profound crisis he called his confrontation with the unconscious. For years, he voluntarily descended into his own psyche, inducing visions, dialoguing with the figures in his dreams, and taking them with the utmost seriousness. He documented this perilous journey in his legendary Red Book, a massive, illuminated manuscript filled with the very symbols and archetypes he was discovering. He found that by engaging these inner forces, by treating them as intelligent entities, he was not descending into madness, as his contemporaries would have feared. He was, in fact, creating a new and more resilient form of sanity. He learned that the goal of the unconscious was not to overthrow the ego, but to enter into a relationship with it, to create a synthesis, a whole, integrated personality. His own life was his primary proof. He emerged from this period not broken, but transformed, with the very theories that would go on to reshape our understanding of the human soul. And today, the cold, hard light of neuroscience is beginning to illuminate the same truths the mystics and depth psychologists have always known. Researchers like Dr. Matthew Walker at UC Berkeley have shown that during REM sleep, the primary dream state, our brain is furiously processing emotional memories. Crucially, while this happens, the brain shuts down the production of noradrenaline, a key stress-inducing chemical. Walker calls it emotional first aid, or overnight therapy. The brain provides a perfectly designed neurochemical space to re-experience difficult events without the attendant anxiety. It strips the painful emotional charge away from the memory itself. In short, your dreams are actively, biologically, trying to heal you every single night. The Jungian approach is not an invention. It is a way to become a conscious collaborator in this innate, nightly process of healing and integration. The logic is irrefutable. You cannot solve a deep-seated problem with the same level of consciousness that is sustaining it. Your waking ego is a magnificent tool, but it is also a master of self-deception. It has its cherished narratives, its blind spots, its defense mechanisms. The dream originates from a different place. A deeper, older, more objective perspective. To ignore your dreams is like being the CEO of a vast corporation and throwing the nightly, brutally honest report from your wisest, most experienced advisor directly into the shredder, unread, because it's not written in the form of a simple memo. It is a willful act of mismanagement of the greatest enterprise you will ever run, yourself. Visual. The sun is now fully risen over the desert. The tall grandfather clock has stopped. The armchair is empty. A profound sense of peace and potential permeates the scene. Phase 6. The call to action narrator. You now have the first key. You have the cipher. The nightly messages will continue to arrive. The only question is whether you will choose to read them. The journey does not end here, it begins. And so, I invite you to take the first step with us. Go to the comments section below. Without revealing the intimate details of your own story, I want you to share one single, powerful, recurring symbol from your inner world. A house. A specific animal. A body of water. A storm. A key. What is one image that your unconscious has held up for you to see, again and again? By sharing it, we create a collective tapestry, a testament to the universal grammar of the soul. If you feel called to continue this expedition, to become a cartographer of your own inner landscape, then subscribe to Ego and Echo. Here, we do not shy away from the depths. We journey into them together, in search of the treasure that only lies in the darkest places. Your work begins with the Dream Journal, learning to listen. But what happens when the voice you hear is not a wise guide, but a terrifying monster? What do you do when your dreams are filled with figures of darkness, the pursuers, the saboteurs, the shadows? Our next session, Meeting Your Shadow, How to Befriend the Monster in Your Dreams, is the essential second step on this path. It will teach you not to flee from these figures, but to turn and face them, for they hold the very energy you need most. Click here to continue your descent. The night is not an absence of light. It is a different kind of illumination. Learn to see in it.